Who is driving the car on this? If it's not Biden, then who's making the calls?
One of the themes from my reporting was nobody was driving the bus. Over and over again, people who worked in this told me that you had this inner circle around the president that really thought, you know what, there's no win here. We're not going to get points for talking about this. Let's just not talk about it.
I remember I was covering these issues at the time from Mexico City, and it was stark how the White House didn't want to speak to this, as you say, but everyone else, regular people, were talking about it. I mean, they were concerned about what was going on.
Yeah. And look, to the degree that there was a logic here, I'm told that the logic was if we just don't talk about it, maybe it'll resolve on its own. And there was some rationale behind it because that had happened in the past. Border surges in 2014 when Biden was vice president in the Obama administration, surges under the first Trump administration. The border numbers had eventually subsided and public attention had moved on, and they hoped the same would happen again, but they were wrong. These numbers did not fade. Instead, the surge kept on getting worse and worse.
Okay, so remind us, what's the reaction among Americans, among regular people, to the waves of migrants that are now coming in?
Yeah, the polling data shows a real shift, and that shift goes in the opposite direction. It shows that more Americans are becoming worried about illegal immigration, and the support for migrants is falling, seemingly in response to this perception of chaos at the border. And now, you would think that that polling data would be a red flag, but it wasn't because of still more political miscalculations. The administration, the people around Biden, were worried that if they got more aggressive on the border on enforcement, they risked alienating Latino voters who were an important part of the coalition that brought Biden to the White House. And beyond that, they figured that other American voters just wouldn't care that much. They thought that unless you live in a border state, this wouldn't be a real priority for you. And sure enough, that situation didn't last because eventually Texas found a way to make it a problem for the rest of the country. In April of 2022, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas figures out how to blow up this idea that Biden could ignore the border by starting a campaign to actually bus migrants from Texas to Washington, D.C., and effectively say to Biden and the Democrats, you cannot ignore this. We won't let you.
We'll be right back.
The Daily is supported by Seed. Seed's DS-01 is a 24-strain 2-in-1 probiotic and prebiotic engineered to survive digestion, support healthy regularity, and promote whole body health. Learn more at seed.com/public.
And by Storyworth. Each week, Storyworth emails a loved one a question about their life. After a year, Storyworth will publish their stories and color photos into a book to keep for generations. Learn more at Storyworth.com. Distribution of The Daily is made possible by American Public Media.
Support for Radio IQ comes from Wilderness Adventure at Eagle Landing, offering 2026 summer camps designed to provide opportunities for campers to explore nature, build confidence, and create memories. Details at wilderness-adventure.com.
OpenAI's Sora 2 lets anyone with a smartphone make and share AI-generated deep fake videos, from phony footage of a corgi rock climbing to fake videos of kids carrying guns in school. What could go wrong?
We're actually now in a world where, I hate to say it, but we cannot believe our eyes.
How to hold on to reality in a world of AI-generated lies. That's on the next On Point.
On Point comes your way weekdays at 7 on Radio IQ.
I'm Radio IQ News Director David Seidel, inviting you to discover Virginia On Demand, a weekday podcast from Radio IQ with news and featured stories from our newsroom and contributors. Subscribe to Virginia On Demand wherever you get your podcasts.
This is The Daily. I'm Natalie Kitroeff. Back to my conversation with Chris Flavell on how Biden fumbled the issue of immigration and what his party can learn from his missteps. Describe this campaign, Chris, led by Governor Abbott, to bring this problem directly to Democrats' doorsteps and, as you said, make it impossible to ignore. Remind us how that all played out.
The campaign started with one bus. In April of 2022, there was a bus that arrived from Texas to Washington, D.C. It pulled up near the U.S. Capitol, and we know from data we got from a public records request that that bus was carrying 12 Venezuelans, 4 Colombians, 4 Cubans, and 4 Nicaraguans. And it was the start of what became tens of thousands of migrants from Texas moved by bus over months and years to New York and Washington, Philadelphia, Chicago, Los Angeles, eventually Denver. And the result was really remarkable. You had all of a sudden mayors and governors in democratically held areas saying, whoa, this is a problem for us. This is a problem financially. We've got to pay to find hotel rooms and shelters for these people. We've got a political problem. Our voters don't like seeing this surge of people on the streets. Publicly, the Biden White House is saying, come on, this is a stunt. You're using migrants as props. This is despicable. That was the public response. But internally, this campaign by Abbott was described to me as a turning point where people who worked for the administration began to think, you know what, we actually have lost this debate. This is the moment at which people are going to turn on us. And it pushed the White House to at least say, okay, well, we can't do nothing. What are we going to do?
And what do they do now that they've finally started to wake up to this?
Yeah, so in this year, 2023, the third year that Biden is president, this administration tried 2 big swings to reduce the sense of chaos at the border. One of them was a program to sort of take people from a handful of countries, Cuba, Nicaragua, Haiti, Venezuela, that had made up a big share of border crossers, and say, you know what? Instead of rushing the border, we'll just let you in. We'll have a program that's formal. You can apply, you can pass a background check, and you can fly into the country. That'll reduce pressure at the border. That was their first idea. And then second, they said, people who want to cross the border still, okay, here's an app, CBP One, and you have to wait and make an appointment. Both those programs were intended to control the flow and reduce the sense of chaos. But by the one metric that mattered most, which was border crossings and border encounters, none of this worked. The numbers from that final few months of 2023 are incredibly clear. The border crossings had, at this point, tripled since Biden took office. They were reaching 250,000 people per month, just totally without any kind of precedent. And that's when the Biden administration finally realized they had to get much more serious and much more aggressive.
And what does that look like, getting more serious and more aggressive?
It's a few things. First of all, they decided to get on board with Senate talks that had begun a few months earlier, trying to look for a bipartisan deal to give the White House authority to effectively close the border to asylum applications. Also, at the very end of December, senior Biden officials flew down to Mexico City to meet with their Mexican counterparts and deliver a really tough message to Mexico, saying, we need you to close your own southern border.
Right,
because
I remember that.
That's the only way we're going to reduce the number of people getting to the U.S. border. And that worked. The Mexicans took action and in response to that pressure, really aggressively cracked down on their own border. And you see that in the numbers. In January of 2024, Biden's last year in office, those numbers had fallen, but not nearly enough. They were still facing much higher crossings than when Biden first came in office. And this is where the pressure gets even more intense, because in February of 2024, that border bill that was moving through the Senate collapses when President Trump, then candidate Trump, tells Republicans to vote against it. So all of a sudden, Biden faces a real dilemma, and the election is less than a year away. That's when they began looking at what you think of as the nuclear option, which is finally using the power that Biden had unilaterally of his own authority to effectively close the border to asylum applications, which he did in June of that year. And the thing that was amazing was it basically worked. The numbers plummeted almost right away. And so from a policy perspective, he had basically solved the problem.
Yeah, Chris, help me understand this. I had this question at the time. I have this question now. Why did it take him so long to use executive action to do this?
You ask 20 people, you get 20 answers, right? One answer that I got was they just didn't believe it was right. This was not in keeping with Democrats' principles about, respecting the dignity of migrants. They wanted to respect the law. They couldn't do it and wouldn't until they felt they had to. Another argument is they wanted to give Congress every possible chance to do this on their own, and only when it was crystal clear Congress wouldn't do it, only then would Biden do this himself.
I want to just talk about everything you've told us. It is really hard to overstate the significance of it, the significance of the fallout of Biden's miscalculations on immigration. Obviously, it led to Trump's return to office in part, and that has totally transformed the country. But there is this potentially deeper, longer lasting impact that you point to in your reporting, which is that it actually helped lead to this rightward shift in the American public's views of immigration. Can you describe that for me and just help me understand how durable you think that shift is?
The honest answer, of course, is no one knows how durable that shift is. There is polling data that has come in since Donald Trump came back to the White House showing that some of the intense unease about immigration that really spiked by the end of the Biden years, that unease has softened a bit, and those numbers have receded to sort of the pre-Biden levels. But what that doesn't account for is anecdotally and based on conversations with people who work on this, there seems to be a real sense of lingering anger among American voters, Democrats, Republicans, the sense that people remain collectively a little bit scarred by what they saw when Biden was president. We know that the Trump-style approach of extremely aggressive crackdowns can work at reducing border crossings, and it can satisfy some portion of Americans, but there's a real pushback, right? It sure seems like many American voters are uneasy about the severity of the Trump approach.
Yep.
On the other hand, as we saw in the last 4 years, a lot of Americans are uneasy with the perception of open borders, and the challenge for moderate Democrats or moderate Republicans will be trying to find a third approach. But even if they can figure out what that is from a policy perspective, can they get American voters to accept it? And maybe the room for new ideas, something closer to a more welcoming approach, is for the foreseeable future closed politically because of that lingering anger from the Biden years. And so maybe the real legacy of Joe Biden on immigration is that people's willingness to give immigrants the benefit of the doubt, or even give Democrats the benefit of the doubt, is, at least for now, gone.
Well, Chris, thank you.
Thank you.
Chris Flavelle is a New York Times reporter covering the federal government.
The Daily is supported by the United States Postal Service, offering holiday postage stamps for purchase at checkout at over 40,000 participating supermarkets and drugstores, and at wholesale clubs Costco, Walmart, Sam's Club, and BJ's. And by Total Wine & More, offering wines, beers, and spirits for holiday gatherings throughout the season. Spirits not sold in Virginia and North Carolina. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
And by American Public Media.
The Daily is powered by the journalism of the New York Times and is distributed by APM, American Public Media. You can go deeper into the stories you hear on The Daily at nytimes.com/thedaily. That's it for The Daily. I'm Natalie Kitcherleff. See you tomorrow.
Hi, it's Steve Inskeep.
And I'm Mary Louise Kelly. You may have heard that prices for used vehicles are up. That car you've been thinking about donating to this station?
That car could be worth hundreds of dollars or even more in support.
If you don't need it, donate it. It's easy, it's free to you, and the proceeds help us bring you the news.
Learn more on the station's website.
Go to radioiq.org and click the support tab and select vehicle donation.
You're listening to Radio IQ on WVTF Roanoke, WRIQ Charles City Richmond, WVTU Charlottesville, WVTW Charlottesville, WVTR Marion, WIAC FM Mons, WQIQ Spotsylvania, WIQR Lexington, WEAC Emory, HD3 of WURV Richmond, and on 92.5 Richmond and 94.9 Fredericksburg. Radio IQ, a listener-supported community service of Virginia Tech, on your smart speaker and online at radioiq.org.
This person is for
OpenAI is anyone with a smartphone make and share AI-generated deepfake video from phony footage of corgi rock climbing to fake videos of kids carrying guns at school. Let me show you what I can make. This is me in a Matrix. This is me speaking with Einstein. And here's Sam Altman becoming ChatGPT himself, showcasing his new features. Yeah, this is getting wild. And I will show. They're fun, they're entertaining, but as AI deepfakes get better and better, they're also increasingly dangerous.
You create a personalized avatar. It's in Turkey. Record your face for a few seconds, record your voice for a few seconds, and then you can allow one or two people or the entire internet to use your voice. The harmful things are going to create harm. What's going to happen is something real is going to show up.
I mean, that peanut soap pie that I made.
I'm Megna Chakrabarty. That's Today on Point. Stay with us.
When we get to that public hearing. So for right now, what do I need to do? This one's better.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Ryland Barton. Police say the younger son of Rob Reiner, Nick Reiner, was taken into custody after the deaths of the director, actor, and his wife, Michelle, at their home in Los Angeles. Detectives are investigating it as an apparent homicide. Rob Reiner was known for directing films that spanned comedy to drama, including this is Spinal Tap and A Few Good Men. He was 78. The Justice Department says it has foiled a plot to bomb sites in Los Angeles on New Year's Eve. NPR's Ryan Lucas reports authorities have arrested 4 people in connection with the alleged plot.
The defendants, Audrey Carroll, because it can only do like one side or the other, or it's going to look at the audience every time that the audience makes a noise.
And possession of an unregistered destructive device. The charges were announced by the top federal prosecutor in Los Angeles, Ella Saley.
The defendants are all radical anti-government members of the Northern Ireland Liberation Front.
An FBI affidavit says the group is dedicated to liberation through decolonization and tribal sovereignty. It says the 4 defendants were plotting to plant pipe bombs at businesses in the LA area to explode on New Year's Eve and had bought materials, including precursor chemicals, to build the bombs. Officials say the alleged plotters were arrested while trying to test an explosive device out in the desert. Ryan Lucas, NPR News, Washington.
Former Hong Kong media mogul Jimmy Lai has been convicted of conspiracies of sedition and foreign collusion under a national security law. Lai is 78. He's been a vocal critic of China's Communist Party. He was arrested in 2020 following massive anti-government protests. President Trump said he brought up Lai's case with Chinese leader Xi Jinping and asked for his release. President Trump is touting progress on negotiations to end the war in Ukraine. He said he recently spoke with Russian leader Vladimir Putin, Ukraine's President Zelensky, and other European leaders involved in negotiations. NPR's Deepa Shivaram has more.
Trump sees himself as a global peacemaker. His inability to end the war between Ukraine and Russia, which started in 2022, is a point of frustration for him. But now the president is signaling progress in negotiations that took place in recent days in Berlin.
They're closer now. We had numerous conversations with President Putin of Russia, and I think we're closer now than we have been ever.
U.S. officials say that as part of the peace deal, Ukraine could get some NATO protection, though they would not be joining the alliance. But that and other measures are still under discussion. Deepa Shivaram, NPR News, Washington.
Australian leaders are promising to overhaul the country's already tough gun control laws after a mass shooting targeted a Hanukkah celebration on Sydney's Bondi Beach. At least 15 people died in the attack. The proposals include a limit on the number of guns someone can own and a review of old licenses. This is NPR News from Washington. The Colombian government is in peace talks with a Marxist rebel group over an armed strike in response to the U.S. military's naval buildup in the Caribbean. The National Liberation Army's strike confines civilians to their homes and restricts commercial activity in largely rural areas. Civilians who defy the rebels' orders are threatened with death.
But you need her too? No, we're good. Okay. I was just gonna tell her that we got it together, but she can see the screen. So that'll work. Who made this? That's from Mayor Cobb. Oh, okay.
Money, it owes nearly $100 million to its main supplier based in Shenzhen, and that firm has agreed to take over.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 7 o'clock p.m. session of Roanoke City Council. I'll ask our clerk, Ms. Webb, to please call the roll.
Mr. Hagan.
Here.
Ms. Sanchez-Jones. Vice Mayor McGuire.
Here.
Mr. Nash.
Here.
Mr. Volleson.
Here.
Ms. Powers. And Mayor Cobb.
Here, and a quorum is present. I'm going to deliver our invocation tonight and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, so I invite everyone to stand, please. This is a prayer written by the theologian Howard Thurman called The Work of Christmas. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among others, and to make music in the heart. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to ask Vice Mayor McGuire to certify our closed meeting.
I move with respect to any closed meeting just concluded that each member of City Council in attendance certify to the best of his or her knowledge that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act and only such public business matters as were identified in any motion by which any closed meeting was convened, were heard, discussed, or considered by the members of council in attendance.
I have a second. Second. Councilman Volleson. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Hagan.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez-Jones. Vice Mayor McGuire. Mr. Nash.
Aye.
Mr. Volleson.
Aye.
Ms. Powers. And Mayor Cobb.
Aye. And the motion. It's my honor now to introduce a young man by the name of Jackson Gunter. He's here with his parents tonight. Jackson and I met a month and a half ago, and he was very well prepared when he came to meet with me. Had a pretty slick PowerPoint presentation, but more importantly, he had a lot of really good ideas and solutions to problems that he identified. So Jackson, we're glad that you're here. Would you like to introduce your parents for us?
My parents are Brianna Gunter and Nelson Gunter.
Right, and Brianna is helping with PowerPoint. Is your dad here?
Yes.
Yeah, there he is. All right. You have some classmates here with you tonight? Shall we have them stand?
If they want to.
Okay. Anybody who's here to support Jackson tonight, go ahead and stand up. All right. Thank you all for being here tonight. All All right, Jackson, we'll just take your time, and we look forward to hearing what you have to share with us tonight.
I'm a third grader at Highland Park. My name is Jackson Gunto. Highland Park has over 350 kids at the school who use it daily. It is used by kids and families. Birthday parties are held there, and disc golfers really like it. These are some issues at the park. There's broken equipment, as shown on the slide, litter, and a broken fence, and the brick walkway is falling apart. These are some examples in one day that we found. Glass, paper, pencils, bottle caps, and broken disc pieces. At the front of the slide, there's 2 fences that are broken, as seen on this photo. I want a playground that I am proud of. I care a lot about this playground, so at recess I am repairing the brick walkway. Next slide, please. The changes I asked Mayor Cobb were add no littering signs, fixing the fence, and fixing the equipment. Next slide, please. These are some actions the city is taking already. Plans to replace the fence, new playground equipment will be ordered, sidewalk repairs will be taking place, and more cleanups by the city crew will happen. Some more ideas for the city are add no littering signs near the playground, picnic tables, and the playground entrance, and add more trash cans, and increase the number of benches around the park. Highland Park is 32 acres. It could be a great park. We need parks a lot right now. Next slide, please. I'm going to work with the principal, Dr. Blanks, and the Highland Park student government to introduce signing a pledge to not litter at the beginning of the year, seeing if the PTA can do cleanup days. Next slide, please. Last slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackson. That was fantastic. Your assistant is really good.
I was going to say that's the best slide control I've seen.
So Jackson, you mentioned several items that you talked about, and after we met, I sent your presentation along with your requests to our city manager's office. And I'm putting Deputy City Manager O'Brien on the spot here, but Deputy City Manager O'Brien responded, and I wonder if you could come up and share some of the updates on some of the items that Jackson brought before us tonight.
I'll share the microphone with you. So yes, Jackson sent or Mr. Gunter, you like that? Okay. Sent the mayor a presentation, which was very good, by the way. And so yes, to his point, the broken playground, the part has been ordered. The cost for the interactive panel that we are replacing is right under $5,000, but we are going to be splitting the cost with Roanoke City Public Schools. We did have this fall, we had a large volunteer day with more than 60 community high school students doing a park-wide litter pickup, including that particular playground. Parks and Recreation has also partnered with Roanoke City Public Schools to have more mulch added to the playground. We did that in November. You noticed that? Very good. The broken fence repair or replacement has been scheduled, and the contractor we're using is Power Fencing, and we're just waiting for them to be able to fit us in their schedule. The disc golf course has received quite a bit of love over the last 12 weeks from both staff and our volunteers. And the broken pieces have been addressed and improvements to the course have been made. The brick walkway, those repairs have not been scheduled yet, but we're in the process of addressing this. And we are working with a contractor to identify several areas in the park that require these repairs. But the bricks are being pulled up and removed often. So this is going to be a very moving target for us to be able to accomplish this. However, it is a priority. Very good. Shake my hand. Very good. Thank you.
So council members, do you all have questions or anything you'd like to share with Mr. Gunter?
I will.
Ms. Powers?
I just want to say thank you for having the ability to come up here and do this and tell us about this. And I think you're going to make a great future leader one day.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have one thing to say. If you're in third grade, how old does that make you? About 8 years old or 7 years old?
8 years old.
So we got about 10 years, y'all, before he's running to replace one of us. So we got to no, but 10 years, 10 years.
So I say he's going to make a great leader.
But I really just want to say thank you for coming out here, young man. And, you know, it takes courage to do this. It takes courage to also be a leader at a young age. So I really respect you for that. And all your friends as well that came out here, and the parents for driving them, right? And but for also encouraging and for supporting, and you all are planting seeds in them that over time will be watered and nurtured, and you all are raising some amazing young people here. So thank you all.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much, Jackson. We've never met, so you don't know me, but this is right up my alley of things that I really care about. So I really appreciate you taking the time to put this together. And I wanted to offer to you because I'm a member of the Neighborhood Association in Old Southwest, and we have been also noticing some of these issues in the parks. And I noticed in here that you were going to work with the PTA to set up some park cleanup days. Well, we have a green committee in the Old Southwest neighborhood group, and we were brainstorming how could we work with the schools or maybe some other folks to tag team, maybe Parks and Rec, to get some of these cleanups going. So if you get those scheduled with Parks and Rec in the schools, you let Old Southwest know and we will come out and help you with that, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much for all your work. You want to say something?
Thank you for your time. I don't think I have anything else to say.
It's all right.
That's fun.
Councilwoman Sanchez Jones.
Jackson, I just want to thank you for coming to us tonight, not only with the problem, but also with the solution. And I wish more adults will be like you, come to us with an issue, but also with a solution. Thank you very much.
Yeah, to reiterate, thank you. You know, public speaking is obviously not always the easiest, but we, appreciate you bringing this to our attention, and hopefully we can make sure you'll have a continued clean park.
So if it's okay with parents, Jackson, would you like some of your classmates to come up and join you for a picture with City Council?
I would love that.
Okay. Yeah.
Not today. Excuse me.
Well.
Thank you again, Jackson, and all the classmates who came. You're welcome to stay as long as you'd like tonight. We're going to change things up a little bit in the order of the agenda. So right now we're going to move to an item of new business, which is the hearing of appointments or reappointments from City Council. It was one of our closed meeting items today. So I'm going to ask Vice Mayor McGuire if he'll read those appointments or reappointments, and then when we vote on the matter, if you would respond with all nominees. Okay, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. So we have a few appointments to the Blue Ridge Behavioral Healthcare Board of Directors. Council is appointing Captain Jennifer Boswell, Roanoke City Police Department. To the City Planning Commission, Council is appointing Ryan Calder. To the Gun Violence Prevention Commission, 2 appointments, Brandy Campbell and David Howard. To the Roanoke Neighborhood Advocates, Oneida Huntington was appointed. And last but certainly not least, also to the Roanoke Neighborhood Advocates, Sandra Rohrer was appointed by council. Thank you, Mayor.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Hagan.
All nominees.
Ms. Sanchez Jones.
All nominees.
Vice Mayor McGuire.
All nominees.
Mr. Nash.
All nominees.
Mr. Vollison.
All nominees.
Ms. Powers.
All nominees.
And Mayor Cobb.
All nominees, thank you. We're going to hold the other presentations closer to 8 o'clock tonight. We're waiting on one of the speakers for Bradley Free Clinic to arrive. So we're going to move into public hearings, and our first public hearing tonight is a request of Bank of Botetourt to amend the institutional planned unit development plan as part of a previous rezoning at 1809 Franklin Road Southwest, bearing official tax map number 1040-102 through the adoption of ordinance number 39887 072114 on July 21st, 2014. Mike Woolwine, agent, is the spokesperson. We have one measure, an ordinance, and I'll entertain a motion in second.
Move the ordinance.
Second. Him and her.
Thank you, council members Nash and Sanchez Jones. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
An ordinance to amend the institutional planned unit development plan that specifies changes in permitted uses, location of buildings and infrastructure, and site design for the property located at 1809 Franklin Road Southwest, Roanoke, Virginia, bearing official tax map number 1040102, and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
I do want to note that the City Planning Commission met recently on this matter and voted to approve with a 6-0 vote. This time I'd like to recognize Mr. Woolwine to come and share anything you'd like with us as part of the presentation.
Sure, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Council Member. Thank you for having us. I'm really here to answer any questions, and I'll expand on anything you'd like to ask me about the application. As you said, we worked with staff to receive favorable approval for them, and Planning Commission was unanimous. So I'm certainly expand on it if you'd like me to, but I'm here to answer questions.
What might be helpful for the public watching in that may not be aware of some of the details of this effort? If you could just give us a brief overview.
Sure, yeah. It's to amend the development plan that was rezoned to INPUD back in 2014. And this particular plan will have 2 phases. The first phase is for a new branch bank, 2-story branch bank. And the second phase is a commercial building of some sort. We're not exactly sure what that commercial building is going to be. It also has to meet the South Jefferson design guidelines because it's South Jefferson design area. So we'll be following those guidelines as well as we develop the plan.
This is along Franklin Road.
Right before the bridge.
Right. If you're coming up Franklin Road toward Old Southwest, it's right before the bridge.
Correct.
If you're coming, it's down the bridge into the Carillion corridor there, Franklin Road corridor, it's just to the right.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
And it abuts the river.
It does. Correct. Yes.
The council, questions? Comments? Vice Mayor?
I was wondering, I was trying to figure out, thank you for being here tonight. I was looking at the 2040 comprehensive plan, and I was just trying to figure out why in the comp plan this is designated for natural space, open space recreation, but then the INPUD was put in place in 2014. So I guess it was zoned that. So it seems like it's inconsistent with our comp plan, and I'm just wondering if anyone could help me wrap my head around that.
Staff would be the people to speak with there, if staff is here.
Catherine, Ms. Gray is coming.
Okay.
That's great.
That's a great question. That means you read the report. Thank you very much. As you look at our comprehensive plan, what you see is all of the neighborhood plans future land use maps carried over in our most recent comprehensive plan. At some point when we do the new neighborhood plans, we'll go back in and address each area and change our future land use map. But we carried over all of the old future land use maps, and that's why you see, even though it was adopted in 2020, it has the old future land use map that was there before the new INPUD was put in place. But that will change over time.
And I will add, just listening to the Planning Commission meeting and some of the questions the commissioners asked, this is, first of all, this is an exciting opportunity. I know it's been years in the making for the right fit here, but I also know that there's a lot of interest because of the proximity to the river and the greenway of creating some spaces within the development that provide nice views and access to the river and the greenway system is, and I know it's kind of part of the vision right now, so I don't know if there's anything you can add to that, but I do know that was part of the conversation the other night.
Yes, so we've moved everything up close to the street, as Roanoke City generally likes to do. So we've got public access to both Phase 1, which would be the bank, and the Phase 2, the commercial building. As far as access to the greenway, we're not going to change any access, but we're also not providing any new accesses.
Just places to be able to view it.
Right.
Any other questions? Yes, Vice Mayor.
Because of the location, part of the property or the parcel is in a floodplain, I think. Will there be any required or voluntary, like stormwater runoff measures, impervious surface mitigation, anything like that at all, considering its direct proximity to the river?
We will meet the design guidelines when we go through the comprehensive review process for stormwater management, which will encompass stormwater quantity as well as stormwater quality. So we'll be controlling both of those.
Gray brought up.
Great. Mm-hmm.
Questions? All right. I believe we're ready to call the roll. Oh, no, I have to open the public hearing. Sorry. I kind of did things in reverse order. My apologies. I'm going to open the public hearing and ask if we have any citizens wishing to be heard on this. No? I'll close the public hearing. We've had our comments and questions. So now, Madam Clerk, I'll ask you to call the roll.
Mr. Hagan?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones? Vice Mayor McGuire?
Aye.
Mr. Nash?
Aye.
Mr. Volleson?
Aye.
Ms. Powers?
Aye.
And Mayor Cobb?
Aye, and the ordinance is adopted. Thank you all very much. Our second public hearing tonight is for consideration of a request for tax exemption for parcels of real property located at 5732 Airport Road Northwest, owned by Heart Cry Missionary Society Incorporated. We have one measure tonight, an ordinance, and I'll entertain a motion and second.
Second.
Thank you, council members Powers and Nash. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
An ordinance exempting from real estate property taxation certain real property located in the city of Roanoke, owned by Heart Cry Missionary Society, Inc., a Virginia 501c3 nonprofit corporation, providing for an effective date and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance by title.
Thank you. I believe we have representatives tonight from Heart Cry Missionary Society. Do we have some online for this one, or is that another one? That's another one. Yeah, please come up, and anyone that's here from Heart Cry Missionary, we'd be glad to welcome you and introduce you. And
thank you, Mayor Cobb. Jesse Weiss on behalf of Heart Cry Missionary Society. It's a pleasure to be with you and the esteemed council members. I just want to thank the City Attorney's Office, David Collins specifically, for his assistance in allowing, in his committee's comments, and allowing Heart Cry to amend its application before you today to provide additional information on how Heart Cry impacts the city of Roanoke. We also have with us today Jose Hernandez, who is a missions integrator with Harcry, as well as Robert Rogers. In case the council wishes to ask any questions specific to them, they are here. And I also like to just recognize that we have in attendance local pastors representing several Roanoke churches who have benefited from Harcry's mission. Here tonight we have Steve Hall from Mayflower Baptist Church, Jimmy Lee from Riverdale Baptist Church, Mark Vaughn from Calvary Memorial Church, and Travis Hilton from Crystal Spring Baptist Church. All in the back here. They don't mind standing. Thank you, gentlemen. Harcry partners with churches to facilitate training and sending of missionaries throughout the globe. They are globally unique in the service they provide to churches who are looking to serve the downtrodden. They bring that uniqueness in Roanoke with their 121,000 Instagram followers or 312,000 YouTube followers. They use the property here in Roanoke to develop media content that is looked at and viewed across the world, including here in Roanoke. And they employ 25 full-time people through their nonprofit here in Roanoke. They host conferences and events that create revenue stream for the city and provide resources to local churches. They're estimating to provide about $35,000 in revenue, bringing in to the city of Roanoke for 2026, which for my estimations, and I'm not a mathematician, nor am I in accounting, but that's about double the size that the city would collect in taxes. Harcry meets the requirements as determined by this council's ordinance, and we respectfully just ask that the council approve the application. And again, certainly happy to answer any questions the council has pertaining to the application. And I'm never going to do better than Mr. Gunter here.
Thank you very much. Mr. Collins, could you talk a little bit about the new process we've started using related to these types of requests for exemption?
Good evening, Mayor Cobb, Vice Mayor McGuire, members of council, and Ms. Turner. Certainly, when the city of Roanoke first received the request for the exemption, it went to the Director of Real Estate Valuation. That office denied the exemption because it was not already exempt under the Virginia Constitution and state code by classification or designation. So at that point, it could proceed to City Council for consideration for exemption under 58.13651 Code of Virginia. At that point, the Tax Exemption Committee met to consider the application and the materials that Harcry has provided. After meeting with and talking with Harcry representatives, discussing their application amongst city staff comprised of the Director of Real Estate Valuations Office, City Attorney's Office, and the Commissioner of Revenue's Office, we determined that they have submitted all of the materials that allow City Council to make the determination that they are exempt. Specifically, they are a 501c3 corporation, and they have supported their application with their missionary, benevolent, charitable, religious purposes for the exemption under state code. For the governing body to consider the exemption, there are a number of questions state law requires the governing body consider. These include whether or not the organization have a 501c3 certificate, whether an ABC license has been issued by the state, the revenue impact to the locality. In this case, the property is assessed at approximately $1.7 million. Other considerations that council must consider are whether or not the officers are paid more than a reasonable salary for their services, and any other criteria that the governing body deems pertinent. Harcry, as they stated before and they include in their application, they say they benefit the locality by providing meetings where visitors come and visit restaurants, lodging, and so forth. So with that being said, we are requesting that council consider granting their exemption.
Mr. Collins, I appreciate the background information on that. I'm going to open the public hearing. Do we have any citizens wishing to be heard on this matter? Okay. I'll close the public hearing. Questions or comments by council? Madam Clerk, I will ask you to call the roll.
Mr. Hagan. Ms. Sanchez Jones. Vice Mayor McGuire. Mr. Nash.
Nay.
Mr. Volleson. Ms. Powers. And Mayor Cobb.
Aye. And the ordinance fails. I'm being here tonight. Move on to item number 3, which is a public hearing for consideration of the City of Roanoke to join the Virginia CPACE program, a commercial clean energy financing program for property owners who want to upgrade their buildings with efficiency, renewable energy, and resiliency systems. We have one measure tonight, an ordinance, and I'll entertain a motion and a second.
Move the ordinance. Second.
I'm going to give that one to Vice Mayor McGuire as the motion and Councilman Nash for the second. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
An ordinance repealing and replacing Chapter 32.3, Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy CPACE Financing Program of the Code of the City of Roanoke, 1979, as amended, and enacting new Chapter 32.3, Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy CPACE Financing Program to create a program to operate in coordination with the statewide CPACE program, all in accordance with Virginia Code Section 15.2-958.3, establishing an effective date and dispensing with the second reading of this ordinance.
Thank you. I'm pleased to welcome Leanne Weitzenfeld, who is our Sustainability Coordinator, who is going to give us a brief presentation. And then I believe we also have some representatives who are attending virtually. Is that correct? Leanne, are you able to introduce them as
sure
well?
will.
Thank you.
Sure will. So good evening, Mayor Cobb, Vice Mayor McGuire, City Council members, and Ms. Turner. I'm Leanne Weitzenfeld. I'm joined tonight virtually by Holly Edinger, who is representing Virginia PACE Authority. Mandy Cribb is here from Economic Development, and Greg Feldman, who is president of Skyline Capital Strategies, woke up today with a fever and is not going to be here, but you have a letter of support that can be passed out to you on his behalf. So the CPACE program, that's an acronym that stands for Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy, kind of a mouthful. But it is an innovative financing program for commercial property owners that provides up to 100% upfront capital for energy efficiency, renewable energy, and resilient projects. And so this program is sponsored by Virginia Energy. It is administered by Virginia PACE Authority and will be facilitated by the city. And we're here tonight to request adopting the CPACE ordinance and joining the state program. So the eligible properties, they're very diverse, anything from office and industrial, hotels. I do want to call out nonprofit and agricultural as entities that are able to capitalize on this. So nonprofits include places of worship. So they are able to use this financing to improve and reduce their energy consumption. The other thing is multifamily units. If there are 5 units or more, they're all applicable. Eligible improvements would be anything that reduces energy and conserves water. So things like HVAC, building envelopes improvements, low flow shower heads, or faucets, and any renewable energy projects like solar, battery backup. On site, you could use rainwater harvesting or green infrastructure so that you can sustainably recharge the groundwater. EV infrastructure is also something that you can do on site. Resiliency projects that help in the face of natural disasters to buffer from those extremes, and then remediation. So pre-project, if there's asbestos removal that needs to be done or any mold or groundwater intrusion, it can be used for that as well. So it really is a powerful economic development tool. It will help revitalize our aging infrastructure and building stock. It improves property values, it increases revenue, and then it can stimulate the economy through development and renovation projects. When those buildings are renovated, when they're upgraded with energy efficiency, that helps lower energy, helps lower our carbon emissions, and helps improve our air quality locally. And so that helps build resilience in our communities, not only by better infrastructure, but also a healthier community. It supports our climate action goals, and then other soft costs like LEED building certifications are also covered as well. Virginia PACE Authority is the program administrator. Abby Johnson is the executive director. They're going to handle all of the marketing and engagement and onboarding, approving, and closing of the CPACE loans. To date, $16 million in loans have been closed, and there are $223 million worth of projects in the pipeline. 21 localities have adopted the CPACE, the state CPACE program. We would make number 22. And Abby shared with me that there are 4 or 5 more localities that are going to be joining the state program in Q1 of 26. Okay, so here's how it works. Section 15.2 of the Virginia State Code authorizes the local governments to be able to enable a CPACE program through an ordinance and then participate in the Virginia Energy Sponsored Program. So the ordinance authorizes the placement of a voluntary assessment or a lien certificate on private property. This is a voluntary action that is done by the property owner who wants to participate in the CPACE loan program. That lien certificate is recorded in land records with the circuit court clerk. The assessment has a priority lien status equal to delinquent property tax status. If there were an event in a loan default, it is a very secure way for this program to work. The assessment is tied to the property itself and not to the owner, and so it can be transferred when it is sold. All right, so economic development and the Office of Sustainability will help to liaison commercial building owners with the Virginia PACE Authority to handle any onboarding and the loan process. CPACE has evolved from primarily being a small retrofit financing tool to a gap financing product that replaces high-risk debt in the capital stack. And so you've got a diagram of the capital stack. So in a project, whether it's a new project or a renovation, you've got your senior debt, which is maybe the construction loan at 65%. The building owner brings equity maybe in at 15%. That leaves a gap of 20%, and the CPACE loan fits nicely into that, and it can be used for hard or soft costs. So hard costs are like physical materials and labor. Soft construction costs are like architectural design costs, permits, and project management. Again, it is transferable on sale upon the sale of the building. And then lastly, the key is that CPACE financing is really flexible so that the developer takes, if the developer takes about 30 months to build, the CPACE repayment starts after the construction is over. In contrast, interest on a construction loan starts during construction. And then renovation benefits. It allows owners to be able to conserve the equity and use it for other things and finance any improvements with the CPACE loan. And many times these projects will be cash neutral or even cash positive, meaning that the energy savings will actually pay for the loan. An example project would be if someone wanted to replace their gas furnace with HVAC, but they had to do asbestos remediation first. CPACE would be able to pay for that, pay for the HVAC. They wanted to add renewable energy and battery storage. CPACE pays for all of that. And one key thing also is that this program can fund equipment installed 3 years after the certificate of occupancy. So it's got some retrofit to it as well. Our responsibility as a locality is to pass the ordinance, and then when a project comes to fruition, the city manager and city staff would sign certain documents, and they're outlined in your package. There is really no locality risk. The city does not assume any liability and is specifically held harmless by the ordinance and program agreement. There's no credit exposure or bond impact. We are not guaranteeing or financing any projects. And then we have no responsibility to collect the loans. And lien enforcement can be delegated, which is the case here, to the CPACE lender. So in summary, the steps are up on the board to join the program. A couple months ago, we had staff education, which brought everyone up to speed on how it works and allowed them to answer questions. The city attorney's office has done all of the document review and made it specific for the city. Steps 3 and 4 are happening tonight, the presentation and also the public hearing. We hope that the CPACE will be adopted, and then we will be able to be open for business on that.
Thank you for
Do you
that
have
overview. I
any
appreciate
questions?
it. Again, Mandy Cribb from the Economic Development Team is here. Do any of our guests online want to say anything in addition to what you shared?
No, I'll just say that she did a great job doing an overview. I couldn't have done better myself. So I'd be glad to answer questions if there are any, and chime in if needed.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm going to open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have any citizens wishing to be heard on this? Okay. Then I'll close the public hearing. Questions or comments from council? Mr. Bollison.
This is more of a comment. I think that the CPACE program is amazing. It's something that I wish we still had on residential, but unfortunately the FHA didn't let that happen. And I think it's a really important tool in our toolbox here in the city to make sure that we're redeveloping in an efficient manner, but also if we have new buildings, this is a way for them to offset costs of more efficient building, whether it's high albedo roofing or solar panels or anything like that. So I'm definitely for this and excited to get this program running again.
Ms. Powers.
And I'd just like to thank the city staff for bringing us on board early to go through this and explain it, and really went into more detail with us. I too, like Mr. Vollison, think it's a great idea and look forward to the city being part of this.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank City Manager Turner for helping get this to us, and Leanne, really appreciate all of your work. And I definitely support this. I want to just say I appreciate that we have economic development here and sustainability here, because, you know, I feel like a broken record, but our sustainability work, I really believe, I know, is also economic development work. And so I think this is a really great program, and I'm glad that, I hope that we will be able to adopt it. And the only thought I had that we don't have to answer tonight was just to think about how we will get the word out for this program to not just kind of the big boys, big and girls like property owners, but the mom and pops, like women, minority owned businesses, like smaller properties that would be eligible for this. Just thinking about how we'll get that word out so it's not just those that pay attention and watch city council meetings.
So I set aside in the plastic bag tax revenue budget, I set aside some money specifically for education and outreach. And so I do want to work with economic development. I do want to put it in the business newsletter, see what we can really do, because it is one of the best tools that we have to allow our businesses or to help our businesses to decarbonize.
And to your point, just about, not churches qualifying, I think just getting the word out to all of the potential people that could benefit from this, I think it could have really far-reaching positive benefits. So I just am really excited for it, appreciate your work on it, and I'll help however I can get the word out if we pass it.
Thank you.
Does this also apply to mixed use zones? So places like, say, for example, downtown where you do have the possibility of having commercial and multifamily residential?
It should. Holly, can you hear that question?
I didn't quite hear the beginning of the question. I know it was about downtown and.
He asked about mixed-use buildings, so part of the building would be commercial, and then there would be a residential section of the building. Does it have to be 5+ units for a mixed-use building?
No, if it's mixed use, it doesn't have to be 5+ units because the commercial space counts as part of as a unit too. So it can be used for those mixed use projects downtown.
Okay. Did I get your question correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So I appreciate that.
Okay.
Other questions? All right. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Hagan?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones?
Aye.
Vice Mayor McGuire?
Aye.
Mr. Nash?
Aye.
Mr. Volleson?
Aye.
Ms. Powers?
Aye.
And Mayor Cobb?
Aye, and the ordinance is adopted. Thank you all for your work on that. All right, we are going to, now I'm going to invite Janine Underwood.
The public hearing? Okay, I didn't, thanks.
Flew right by. Welcome. We're eager to hear about Bradley Free Clinic tonight. And I believe you have some people here with you to help you with the presentation.
My board members, Dr. Ray, he's president of our board. Nali Chavez, she is on our board of directors.
Come on up. Come on up now.
Mark Watts, Dr. Mark Watts, is also on our board of directors. And representing the med school, Dave Tinkle. Oh, Aubrey, yes. And Cinda Johnson.
Cinda and Bruce got it. It's a whole posse here tonight. And I think you have a volunteer here with you tonight.
Yes, I do. So one of our longtime volunteers who has just done amazing work in the community and for the Bradley Free Clinic, Dr. Robert Brown.
Robert, come on up. Glad you're here. So, Janine, before I have you share your presentation and all of you here, I wanted to just pause for just a brief introduction. Every year, City Council has an opportunity to honor our Citizen of the Year, and we get nominations from the public about this, and we had a lot of really great nominations this year. It was a difficult decision to make. But we like to select one special citizen who goes above and beyond the call of duty to serve our city and fellow citizens. So our 2025 honoree is very community-oriented. This person demonstrates a commitment to this city and the wellness of its citizens through an active engagement as a volunteer in so many different things and aspects throughout the community. This honoree is also a medical physician who is also bilingual and was a graduate in the inaugural class of the Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine. And I think he may have just figured out the surprise. On behalf of Vice Mayor McGuire and City Council, we are excited to announce that the 2025 Citizen of the Year is Dr. Robert Brown.
Totally got me.
So please be seated. I have to give you a little background on how all of this came into being. We knew that we were going to get an overview from the Bradley Free Clinic, so we started coordinating with Janine and then with your beloved spouse, who told us that it was probably going to be impossible for you to be here in person because you were scheduled to work in Giles County. So that whole thing about setting up the Teams meeting so you could be part of the Bradley Free Clinic, yes, it was all a lie. We just, whatever it took, we were going to make sure we presented it to you, whether it was in person or virtually. So a little bit more about Dr. Brown. He's been giving back to the community for many years through his involvement with the Bradley Free Clinic, Carilion Clinic, the Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine, and as an emergency room physician. He has also devoted time, effort, and a deep commitment to improving the lives of others. He serves as a bridge to care for the growing Spanish-speaking population to ensure they receive the medical attention deserved with dignity and understanding. As of this evening, Dr. Brown's name will join the ranks of some other outstanding and distinguished Roanokers who have been honored as Citizen of the Year, such as Dr. Cheryl Hartman, Estelle McCadden, and most recently, Haywood Fralin. Dr. Brown, we're happy to unveil our Citizen of the Year plaque, which will display your beautiful face and name down in the lobby of the Noel C. Taylor Municipal Building on our main floor. So when people come to pay their taxes, they can stop and thank you. I also want to present you with your own personalized plaque. We're not done yet. And then we have a resolution to present to you tonight, and I need a motion and a second to move the resolution. All right, thank you, Ms. Councilwoman Vivian Sanchez-Jones. Do I have a second? Thank you, Councilman Volleson. Madam Clerk, will you please read the resolution in its entirety?
A resolution honoring Dr. Robert Brown as the City of Roanoke's 2025 Citizen of the Year for his exemplary service in emergency medicine, his unwavering commitment to the health and well-being of all Roanoke's residents, and his extraordinary devotion to the undeserved in our community. Whereas Dr. Robert Brown chose to make Roanoke his home following his graduation from the charter class of the Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine and subsequent years of medical training, returning intentionally to the Roanoke Valley out of a desire to heal, serve, and uplift this community. Whereas, as an emergency medicine physician, Dr. Brown stands on the front lines of care, providing critical support to individuals and families in their most vulnerable moments, offering not only medical expertise, but compassionate and steady presence. Whereas Dr. Brown continually extends his service beyond the hospital, reaching out during community crises to ask, how can I help? And collaborating with city officials, nonprofits, and community groups to ensure needs are met swiftly and effectively. Whereas Dr. Brown has made significant contributions to community initiatives, including champion efforts for housing security, educating community members in CPR, serving on panels addressing the link between housing and health outcomes, and mentoring medical students and residents far beyond his required duties. Whereas Dr. Brown's relationship with the Bradley Free Clinic began during his medical school training in 2010, and since returning to Roanoke, he has remained steadfastly committed to the clinic's mission, returning not only as a provider, but as a mentor and advocate for future clinicians. Whereas Dr. Brown has devoted weekly volunteer service at the Bradley Free Clinic since 2020, where he serves as a primary care physician for uninsured and underinsured patients, including many whose first language is Spanish, delivering culturally responsive and language accessible care not often found in emergency medicine practitioners. Whereas Dr. Brown embodies integrity and humility, continually reflecting on how he can serve others more fully, embracing the sacrifice, long shifts, and emotional burdens inherent in his calling, and consistently striving to live out his values in meaningful and concrete ways. And whereas Roanoke City Council desires to recognize Dr. Robert Brown for his dedication, generosity, and extraordinary impact on the well-being, inclusivity, thank you, and resilience of the Roanoke community. Therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Roanoke as follows. 1. Council recognizes, commends, and honors Dr. Brown as the 2025 City of Roanoke Citizen of the Year for his extraordinary contributions to the betterment of our community and his unwavering commitment to service and excellence. Number 2, the city clerk is directed to forward an attested copy of this resolution to Dr. Robert Brown as an expression of the city's gratitude and admiration for his exceptional leadership and service.
And here is your attested copy. We need to vote on that resolution to make it official. So, Madam Clerk, I'll have you call the roll.
Mr. Hagan.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones. Aye. Vice Mayor McGuire.
Aye.
Mr. Nash.
Aye.
Mr. Vollison.
Aye.
Ms. Powers.
Aye.
And Mayor Cobb.
Aye, and the resolution is adopted. And now finally, on behalf of the City of Roanoke, it is my pleasure to present you with the highest honor that we have to confer, and I'm going to ask Councilwoman Sanchez Jones to present it, and that is the key to the city. And if you'd like to read that.
Presented to Dr. Robert M. Brown, 2025 Citizen of the Year, in appreciation and dedication of outstanding service to the citizens throughout the Roanoke community, by Mayor Joseph L. Cobb and members of the Roanoke City Council, December 15, 2025. Muy merecido.
So now that you're completely flabbergasted, would you like to say anything?
I have not done a fraction of what the people standing in front of you have done. I didn't found a school. I didn't teach myself medicine. I didn't establish the clinic, and I don't run it every day of the week. I am incredibly grateful to everyone up here who merits much more than this and who has done so much more for this community. This is a promissory note of what I hope to do, just to do what you all have already accomplished.
Would you like to say anything? No? Good. So I would like to ask some of your colleagues that you just alluded to, Dr. Trinkle, I mean, you welcomed this guy when he came to medical school.
Yeah, I'm going to let Dean Johnson jump in.
Dean Johnson.
I'll jump in after her.
All right. Thank you for being here.
Robert, I'm so proud of you, and it is 100% deserved. And most people here wouldn't understand the way some of the people up in front would, but in a way, this is another fulfillment of my dream through you. Because when I started the medical school, what I said would be the most amazing outcome. My full dream would be when our graduates are the ones that are running medicine that will eventually become our deans in this community, and you're well on your way.
um, it everything that's been said tonight, it's only a fraction of everything that you do, and I'm just so lucky that you are my partner in this life.
I'll be brief. Cinda said it very well, but I was fortunate enough to be part of the med school when it started back in 2010, and welcome your class and welcome Robert Brown to Roanoke. And we had a mission at that time to really be community involved and be service driven in our community. We'd always heard, or at least I grew up hearing, physicians are not involved in their community. And we were out to really change that, and it was a big part of our mission. And that first year class really took to it, but Robert really took to it. And he came back home, and I've read some of the quotes when he came back home. He came back home because it was such a warm, friendly, outdoors area where he could make an impact. And you are indeed making a great impact, so keep at it.
Robert, I don't really know what to say. You've just been amazing. I go way back with Robert, back to before he was even born. I grew up in Lewisburg, Tennessee with his father and his sisters and his other brother, and said I've known them forever. His aunt was my first girlfriend in third grade. So. But Robert's just been a delight. I remember the first time I met you with some of your classmates. He was very involved when we started the student-run clinic at the free clinic, very engaged, and it's been a huge success. Dean Johnson, I can't say enough about your support. But Robert is what the free clinic is really all about, and we hope it always will be. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Robert, if I could have you and your spouse partner stand right here, we'll get a picture with council. And actually, I'd like for you all to gather around as well up here in the center.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And now, though it was slightly delayed, I'm pleased to welcome Janine Underwood, the director of the Bradley Free Clinic, for an update on the work they're doing.
Thank you so much, Mayor, members of City Council, and Ms. Turner. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today, and congratulations, Dr. Brown, for a well-deserved award. As many of you know, the Bradley Free Clinic has long been an essential part of the healthcare safety net in our community. What you may not know is just how much we've grown in the past 5 years. Our patient population has more than doubled. In the past year alone, we cared for nearly 4,000 patients. And our demographics have shifted to reflect a more diverse community. We are also seeing a significant increase in individuals who were recently incarcerated, housing unstable, and experiencing homelessness. We continue to serve low-income uninsured residents as well as those with Medicaid. But the balance has changed. 70% of our patients are now uninsured. This isn't due to a loss of Medicaid patients, but the number of uninsured are registering at a faster rate. By 2026, we expect that percentage to rise even higher. Our dental department sees close to 2,000 patients and is the primary resource in the community for adult dental care for the underserved. Our behavioral health department was established when Mental Health America closed their doors in 2019. By the end of our first year, we were serving about 450 patients. This past year, we served 1,200. This rapid growth underscores what we see every day, that integrating behavioral health with primary care isn't optional. It's essential to helping our patients stay healthy and preventing crisis. Our HOPE initiative, now in its 9th year, provides peer recovery support for individuals struggling with substance use. When we began, we helped 32 people enter treatment. Today, we assist about 1,000 individuals each year with an 83% completion rate. In recent years, our peer recovery specialists expanded their outreach into the community, joining Roanoke Police Department on Star Walks through the encampments, working with the jail systems, and doing ride-alongs with Roanoke City's fire and EMS. We also provide 20,000 prescriptions a year to our patients and to the rescue mission. And we work with Roanoke City Fire and EMS to get them the naloxone that they need. Finally, the Bradley Free Clinic was recently named Southwest Virginia Area Health Education Center, one of only 8 sites in the Commonwealth. We've always been a teaching facility, as you can see with the med school, but now we work with more than 29 educational programs across Virginia. Our volunteers, like Dr. Brown and many others that are here today, that precept the medical students, are not only providing compassionate care, but are also shaping the next generation of healthcare providers. In short, the Bradley Free Clinic has grown, adapted, and expanded to meet the changing needs of our community. At the same time, like many other safety net providers, we're concerned about how can we remain sustainable as demand continues to rise. These are uncertain times for healthcare, and the need for accessible, dependable services has never been greater. We are proud of the progress we've made and the work we do alongside our community partners, and we are truly grateful for your continued support as we all work together to keep Roanoke healthy, resilient, and strong. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Underwood. Any comments or questions from council? Vice Mayor?
Just to say thank you for your work. I really appreciate it. I've talked to people that you've helped, and some of the statistics you just shared with us were pretty informative, eye-opening. I don't know about the need that we have in our community, so thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you as well. I know the Bradley Free Clinic has been around for a long time, and to hear the expansion that's happening, it's just amazing seeing the changes that have been happening over there on, what is it, 3rd Street that y'all are on? Yeah. And just seeing the way that the clinic has changed and just the growth that has happened over there. I'm really so grateful for what you provide to our community, because without it, I mean, those numbers that you just talked about, that's a huge amount of underserved people that need this care. And so what you do is so vital to the city. So thank you.
Ms. Powers?
I'd like to just say thank you too, and congratulations to Dr. Brown. Thank you so much for everything. It's just wonderful to see this. Thank you.
Thank you, Janine, and thank you all for being here tonight. Our last agenda item tonight is a hearing of citizens upon public matters, and we prioritize this time as an opportunity for citizens to be heard. Every speaker tonight will have 3 minutes. If this is your first time to speak before council, you just come up to the podium. The mic is on, so you don't have to worry about that. There's a box in the upper right-hand corner. The green light means start. The yellow light means you have about a minute left, and the red light means stop. If you're trying to wrap up, I'll work with you to finish up. And so I'm going to ask our clerk tonight, Ms. Webb, to call speakers 2 at a time.
Matthew Placido and Owen McGuire.
Yeah, welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Good evening, City Councilors.
Evening.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak about education funding formula for the 2026-2027 school year and beyond. My name is Matthew Placido, and I'm the interim vice president of the Roanoke Educators Association, and I'm proud to teach at William Fleming High School. Roanoke City Schools are the pride of our community. Students at the Cliff find themselves in a vibrant, diverse learning environment where everyone is dedicated to lifting one another up. Public education is never perfect, and there's always room to improve. But after 15 years teaching in a variety of public and private districts, I can say with certainty there is something special here in RCPS. That magic does not happen by accident. It is built by parents, educators, counselors, support staff, administrators, and community members who all believe in our students, and that belief produces real, transformative results. That system, however, is under serious stress. Last year's budget changes led to emergency cuts to student supports, particularly at the elementary level. The ripple effect that will follow those students into middle and high school, placing additional strain on teachers and staff. Now, with federal Title I funding being reduced, further cuts will be unavoidable unless local investment offsets those losses. Choosing to make last year's reduced funding formula permanent would amount to another real cut at precisely the moment our schools can least afford it. The end result, staffing cuts, ballooning class sizes, and the withdrawal of student supports. I've seen what happened personally when austerity is imposed on a school system. Community faith begins to erode. Parents disengage. Volunteers disappear. After school programs and coaching positions go unfilled. Student behavior worsens. Talented teachers and counselors leave for other districts, and real estate values decline, and with them, city revenues. The result is a downward spiral that takes decades and enormous investment to reverse. Most districts never fully recover. The short-term savings today create far greater costs tomorrow, and those are costs we will all have to pay one way or another. I understand our city is facing many challenges and trade-offs. I appreciate that council is considering allowing the district to retain 34% of additional new revenue from the previous year. Thank you for acknowledging that something was broken and needs repair. But let's be honest, it's not sufficient to cover these shortfalls. While the Title I cuts were not made by this council, leadership requires responding to the reality that's in front of us. Right now, our schools are under attack from multiple directions, and now's the moment for Roanoke to step up and say, we will fight for our schools when no one else will. Please revisit this budget and reconsider restoring the traditional funding formula. Every year I teach at RCPS, my students arrive better prepared and ready for more rigorous instruction because we are not dealing with overcrowded classrooms or collapsing supports. We are moving in the right direction. If you believe this in this city, prove it by investing in its children and by ensuring every student graduates for college, trade school, and life with a diploma and a resume. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Mr. McGuire?
Members of council, Mr. Mayor, thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. It's been a while since I've been up here. I'm with the Grandin Court Neighborhood Association, and I'm also a participant in the Roanoke United Neighborhoods Organization. I'm here this evening to talk about my disappointment that the planning department has not reported back to city council regarding their review that many people have brought up concerning the recently council-approved zoning amendments changes from 2024. It was my understanding that the planning commission missed the October 2nd deadline for this year to report back to city council members. And then they missed another deadline, which was November the 10th. So keep in mind that the planning commission first recommended the zoning changes, then voted to reject the changes prior to the final vote a year ago. Yet a much different council passed the amendments anyway. My question to council and to mayor, where are we in this process? Has there been a firm timeline been set for the review to begin? It appears that the planning commission is either acting with indifference or impunity concerning this matter. It's my hope that the planning commission, our city manager, and the city council will very soon begin cooperating regarding the zoning amendment review. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you, Mr.
Time.
McGuire. And actually, we did address some of that this afternoon at our 2 o'clock meeting with the timeline for action and finishing up that. So,
You think it's going to be a firm one this time, or?
yes, yes.
Good. We look forward to it, seeing
Thank
what happens with it.
Thanks for
And
coming.
thank you. I know Councilman Hagan and Velazquez have been involved in this process quite a bit, so thank you for your efforts regarding this. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Jork Leff and Stephen Fowler.
I believe it's Jack.
We could, my apologies.
We couldn't figure it out. It's nicer than what the students tend to call me. All right. Thank you, council members. Thank you, Mayor Cobb. Thank you, City Manager Turner. My name is Dr. Jack Leff. I am a high school biology and environmental science teacher at William Fleming High School, and I'm a proud member of the Roanoke Educators Association. I'm coming up here today to also speak against the proposed 6% budget cut in this upcoming fiscal year to the school funding formula. This is going to have very real impacts on everybody who teaches within the city. We are a Title I school division, and the kinds of impacts these cuts can have are tremendous. Currently, even under the previous funding formula, my class sizes are typically well over 30, which is an unmanageable amount if you can imagine being in a room with over 30 high schoolers at the same time. And this 6% cut on top of inflationary forces, on top of a weak state budget that's not going to be able to make up fully the gap from the federal government cuts, is going to be catastrophic. So I'm encouraging you to also restore the previous funding formula. I'm also concerned that these cuts represent an ongoing pattern of short-sightedness with the budgets that has been a topic of conversation, not just in the most recent city council election, but for a long time now, leading to us bringing in a new city manager to help address some of this. I worry that this cutting of education, one of the best investments we can make as a city, in favor of other projects that are being discussed, is short-sighted and ultimately going to lead to revenue loss in the city that's going to have deeply harmful long-term impacts. The data is clear. Education is one of the best investments we can make as a city. Every dollar we spend in our students' education and future gets returned to us in future tax revenue, but that doesn't even include the social benefits we get from having a flourishing and thriving school and educational system. When compared to capital projects such as casinos that tend to drain resources from a community, I don't want us to gamble our city's future when we have a safe bet in the field of education. And I'm really pleased to have seen the presentation earlier from our community member, Jackson Gunther, as well as support from some of the other students, because I think that speaks to the value and the promise of Roanoke City Schools. But the reality is that these sorts of funding cuts, especially given the support staff issues that we've had in elementary, are going to trickle down and impact students like his education. I mean, we saw what kinds of ideas can be produced when we allow students to flourish, when we allow students to engage, when we allow students to participate in the civic process, and these funding cuts could block that. And so to end on a question and a call to action to restore previous school funding, I'd ask you, if we prevent excellent students like Jackson from coming up here through these funding cuts, where are y'all going to get your best policy ideas in this upcoming year? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Leff. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me and meeting me on this unseasonably cold day today. My name is Stephen Fowler. I'd like to try to resolve a matter that's kind of affected myself, my company, and ultimately the city over the last few years. As a general contractor that lives and primarily operates in the city of Roanoke, Old Southwest, I would like to address the building department to see if we can get them to help that they need in order for the building community to get the permits that we need. When I moved here just over 3 years ago, I knew that with such a large amount of beautiful old homes here that the city has, I would never be without work. Most homes in this city need something. What I did not understand as an outsider was how short on help the building department was and how slow their process is and how that affects the way the city looks and operates. I am not a developer. I do not build sky rises. I mostly remodel and repair old homes. As a licensed contractor, I abide by the law that requires me to get a permit for every job I do. If I do not, my license can be revoked. The building department has been short-staffed and underpowered. They simply cannot process the permits that I and others need to keep my company, my people, and my subcontractors working efficiently and profitably. I've worked and lived in other cities before calling Roanoke home. Other places, most permits take a few business days. A new house may take 2 to 3 weeks in some of the other cities that I've worked and lived in. These are similar sized cities that process roughly 3 to 4 times the amount of permits that this city does. Roanoke County itself only takes a week or 2 for most permits. In Roanoke City, it takes roughly 6 weeks for a simple deck, 2 to 4 months for a simple addition. Even with an architect and engineer approvals. This should not be like this for somebody who has spent over half their life as a professional builder. As a small business owner, sometimes I need to be able to pivot, change direction. I also do not need more paperwork and back and forth with the building department. Currently, there is 1 residential plan reviewer for the entire city, and there is also 1 city inspector right now. I know they have plans to hire 1 more, but it's like they really need multiple to be able to process and keep us working. We need the office staff to move more quickly and to allow us to keep working, and the inspectors to scrutinize more when the work is poor. When the building department is understaffed, people like me cannot get their permits. People cannot get work the legal way. That scares away builders, contractors, and developers. That allows fly-by-nighters to come and rip people off and do shoddy work. They have no license. They have no accountability. The clients have little to no legal recourse. I hear it from clients all the time. Every one of them has a horror story. What you get is low quality work, no one to take responsibility for it, and licensed contractors that do not want to work in the city. Someone like me shows their face in public and at meetings like this.
Go ahead and finish up.
Okay, thank you. The building department does not have to be this bad. It's an easy fix. I have worked and lived in other places, and it does not have to be like this. It can run smoothly, and permits can be issued in a timely manner. We are the people that makes this city look good and allows Roanokers to feel pride in our city. When the building department does not have the full manpower to run smoothly and work together with us licensed contractors, the city is the one that loses out. It loses the facelift it needs for these grand old homes, for ourselves and others that come to visit and would want to stay. Our local economy loses out. The city loses out on extra property tax revenue it would benefit from to put into new infrastructure and make its citizens' lives better. It loses out on those that can be held accountable for when the work is bad. It loses out on making itself look as good as I know it can. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your experience. I appreciate it.
Michelle Brooks and Jessica Blandy.
Good evening, council members. I am a citizen, homeowner, parent, and teacher within Roanoke City. I am a proud member of REA, but I am speaking tonight as an individual. I am here tonight to discuss the proposed 6% budget cuts to city schools. As someone who works daily in the schools and sees the immediate needs for students and staff, I am angry that the city would even propose such a measure. Essentially, the city wants to rob Peter to pay Paul. Roanoke City Schools have not only produced clean audits year after year, but have also had the wherewithal to set monies aside should it be needed in the future. And we needed it this past year due to the budget cuts. Now, I may not agree with how the schools spend all of their money, but they have shown that they are responsible with taxpayer money. As a parent, I can see safety as a priority for city schools because it pays for the SROs out of its own budget. This is highly unusual as most localities in the state pay for SROs themselves as it is a general safety issue. So my question is the safety of our children a priority for the Roanoke City government? Because if so, I believe they should pay for the SROs and not city schools. Additionally, as a taxpayer, I know that this is part of the capital outlet plan, but the schools paying nearly $12 million for city government debt, not school debt, city government debt on city government buildings is not right. It shows that the city's priorities are not with paying their own debts, but because the schools have been careful with their money, the schools should pay for the city government debt. As a teacher within Roanoke City Schools, I am angry that there are 560 full-time employees of Roanoke City Schools who earn less than $42,000 a year. How these classified members of the backbone of how our schools operate, and without them, we could not run. Giving them a living wage for their work and dedication to the students and families of Roanoke City isn't asking too much. It's the right thing to do. Also, I am angry that city government believes that the city schools should be compared to any of our local neighbors. I have taught in those locals, and the needs are vastly different. It is comparing apples and oranges. I am angry that there are students in my classroom right now that need services that we don't have the people to provide those services for. We need more than the bare minimum of required counselors in the schools. We need more than the bare minimum that the state requires with the standards of quality. So if you are wanting to help the city of Roanoke prosper, you need to invest in the schools, students, and staff. Thank you.
Very much. I believe Ms. Blandy's here tonight. Okay.
Rebecca Murphy.
Welcome.
Good evening, Council. My name is Rebecca Murphy. I am the Vice President of Communications with the Roanoke City Central Council of PTAs. I want to start by thanking the council members who have taken the time to meet with the Roanoke City Central Council PTA. Those conversations gave us much appreciated insight into the current school funding situation and a chance to get to know you all a little better. Because of these conversations, I am acutely aware of the budget constraints Roanoke City faces. I am not here to ask for unlimited school funding, but what I do ask and expect of our city's elected officials is predictability in the funding formula and a protection of classroom-level support. Under the previous funding formula, Roanoke City Public Schools were able to share in the city's revenue growth. This allowed RCPS to plan responsibly for the year ahead. The current level funding approach with the realities of rising costs and rising needs is in effect a cut. You have effectively slashed funding to public education. The impact of this will be seen in larger class sizes and reduced intervention services for students who need extra support. Currently, it appears that the plan for the next couple of years is to reduce the funding percentage every year, compounding what will be the results of under-supported schools. Roanoke City Council needs to recognize that no city is successful without successful schools. Transversely, no school system is successful without adequate local funding. The PTA, asks that the city honors the 40% funding model. Currently, our CPS receives about 10% less local funding when compared to the state average already. If we cannot return to the 40% model and the city changes their end of the agreement, the school should also have the opportunity to change theirs. Things like the school's full payment of school resource officers and debt services, for instance. No other school system in the entire state is expected to pay this and was agreed to when the 40% funding was put in place. If Roanoke City is no longer upholding their end of the agreement, the entire agreement is void. We would also like to see clear criteria from the city for when RCPS can apply for surplus funds. They have been trying to apply for the true-up funds for months, and upon speaking to a few council members about this, it seemed like you all were unaware of the situation. The RCC PTA is not asking for an unlimited budget. We ask for accountability on both the city and the school side, transparency and predictability. We cannot change the funding formula every year. I know none of you have young children in the school system that will be affected by your choices in this room, but I urge that you think about ours and the employees of RCPS while you are weighing the options, because there are always options. Choose wisely. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That's it? All right. Well, thank you all for coming out tonight on this especially cold day to share your perspectives. We appreciate it. This council meeting, there being no further business, will be declared in recess. We will meet again on December 22nd here in council chambers at 8:30 a.m. To convene in a closed session for the sole purpose of interviewing prospective candidates for the position of city attorney. Right? So until then, and no further business tonight, we are in recess. Thank you all.